Well, you could do a rural tip.
Why, yeah.
For the town can do a rural tip?
No, the county can
The
do
county
it.
can do a rural
Yeah.
tip, but if the city's the one doing the infrastructure, they're
Right,
the ones that are
that's-
gonna
And
want
I
to get
just gotta
paid.
say an agreement between the city and county that they would provide the infrastructure. That's the way that's handled.
You know, bringing up TIF is another another thing that you can also consider. I look at TIF as being a lot more flexible. I mean, in effect, it's a lot of the same thing. You know, you're giving somebody the some break on their taxes. You could do that through TIF, where you collect them and you rebate them back. You actually have a little more flexibility. You don't necessarily have a specific schedule you got to follow. I think it's easier to set up in an urban renewal area versus an urban revitalization area. And if you're in a situation like that, where say it is a business that's looking in the rural area for whatever reason, might be we want it, maybe it's on Highway 20 right up the road here. Well, it'd be nice to be in Sac City, but they want to be on Highway 20, whatever, and you still say, well, we need water and sewer, and you get everybody down at the table, and the city can say, yeah, we can run some water and sewer lines out there, and all hypothetical, of course. Using TIF, you really have the ability to have some flexibility to make that all work. Maybe you give them some break in their taxes by rebating some of it back, and you use some of the rest of it to help pay for that infrastructure. I think you got a lot more flexibility there to do that, and that isn't something that has to be done ahead of time.
Excuse me, it does have to be done?
Does not have to be done.
So,
The nice thing with TIF, you're always looking back anyway, because your current taxes that you're paying, you pay taxes right now are not for taxes due in this current year. So you always got that bit of lag time with that, to get everything set up. I always see a lot of those types of projects. Give you an example. In Carroll County, there was a fertilizer facility that West Central did down by Templeton. And they came and said, we'd like some incentive from the county. We want to do this through TIF, set up a TIF on that, which was 5 or 8 million, whatever it was, to build that fertilizer plant. The county is rebating back their taxes for a period of 5 years. So, it's effectively tax abatement, but they still pay their taxes. And the county gets them, turns around, writes them a check back.
Why didn't they just do straight abatement?
This was actually a quicker and easier way to do it. I don't think the county necessarily wanted to set a precedent and say we want to do tax abatement in general, and they really weren't. And that said, this is a project, we're going to look at this. This is the project.
what's the timeline?
They did that one for 5 years, time it for setting
No,
it
but
up.
I mean, like, go from the time somebody approached, from the time West Central approached the county, how long did it take?
Before we got everything in
You have to
place,
have hearings. Same
It was
as,
not a big rush, but it was probably a good 18 months before everything was done. Now, actually, set up a TIF district, we can get that done in 6 weeks to 2 months. And even quicker if you really need to push something through. But the nice thing about that is you don't have to do that. Because if you set up, TIF district now, and you incurred some debt, the base valuation on that area is going to go back to January 1 of the previous year. It's going to go back to January 1 of 09. So you've got time to basically do that. You want to make sure that nothing gets built, where it's going to screw up your base valuation. But that's where you're always looking at your base and then your improvements. As long as you're in the time frame allowed by the law where you can set your base to where it's 0 or bare ground.
Well, the base would be an unimproved ground.
Exactly. Now, if you wait too long, then you're not going to, the base is going to have already have the improvement on there. You're defeating your purpose. And what we've done, what we've seen done is, if say, that co-op came to you and said, we want to do this, we want to start, we want your commitment. You guys could do a simple MOU and say, yep, we're going to proceed. We're going to get our ducks in a row, get our paperwork done, get the area set up. You guys can go ahead and start. You know that everybody's on the same page. Everybody's agreed to do it. And there you go.
you help Carroll County
Yep.
with that?
And then once the project was done, or close to being done, we had a better idea too of what the assessed valuation was going to be, which is all kind of part of the urban renewal area, urban renewal plan. You know, what's that assessed valuation was gonna be? Well, they had the thing almost done. The assessor was able to come out and say, okay, it's gonna be assessed at this, so we think this is approximately what the taxes are gonna be. Then drew up a development agreement, did it all at the same time. And the development agreement stated, you know, they built this is what it's assessed at, this is what the taxes are, this is what the county's gonna pay back to them over this period of time.